the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face of God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Oh,
of
c'est
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
es judo.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are the
God.
face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
God. You are the face
Tu
of God.
es judo
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face of God.
Good morning and welcome to Spiritual Life Center, a church that love is building.
can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Let's open with prayer and take this time to set aside any concern for our lives or for the world around us, and to feel the presence of God that is here and now and everywhere in the universe. We come into contact with the divine consciously, knowing that we are guided and protected, strengthened and prospered by the ever-present Spirit that runs the universe. This mighty Spirit loves us and has our very best interest in mind for us all the time. Truly, all is well. And for this and every other gift that God showers upon us, we say, thank you, living, loving Spirit. We do pray in the name and through the power and in the nature of the Christ Spirit that lives within us all. And so it is. Amen.
When I am down and oh my soul is so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Loving Father, in the quiet of this moment, I pray that every person here, whatever the need, may know the all-sufficiency of the indwelling, living God. For the Lord is in his holy temple. Those who need guidance, direction, are now enfolded in the all-knowing mind that is God. And he is ready to fulfill every demand, to answer every question, and illumine every conscious thought. Wisdom flows as a river through every soul, bringing deep perception and perfect judgment. The atmosphere around me and within me is vibrant and alive. I trust in the Lord with all my heart. I no longer lean on my own understanding. In all my ways I acknowledge him, and God is directing my path. I trust my indwelling God to lift my dear ones from darkness, from confusion and illness, and into his radiant light and healing power. God, as love is flowing through me now, enfolding me, enfolding them. Their faces shine brightly as I picture them free and perfect, filled with light. I praise and give thanks to you as I behold your glory. Our Father, you are the way, the truth, and the life. As we look to you, infinite presence, one holy mind, we find you everywhere in everything. As we acknowledge you in all people, all things, answers come from everything we contact. The universe tells us of itself. It shares and reveals its secrets and its joys. And yet, Father, I know that this response is really you, the perfect parent, being aware of me, your unfolding child. You have seen me from a long way off and have come to me to feed and nourish me, to sustain me, to bless and to enrich me, to fulfill every need, my highest dreams, my deepest desire. And so I take this time now to connect with you in these moments of silence, as I allow my gratitude to pour forth in the silence, in the sweet silence of spirit. I bring my awareness back to this room, to the activities of this day. I'm a new person in you, bringing my light, the light that is mine alone to give to the world. We ask that our prayers go out to those who have special needs, that they may know your comfort and your healing ways, that our leaders know you by the wisdom and good judgment that flows easily, effortlessly through them as they govern from the heart and head. And that peace will prevail and a greater experience of your love will be felt in the world today. And now, let us join together as we sing and pray the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. It is now that my life is mine. I've got this short time on the earth. All my longing has brought me here. All I've lacked and all I've gained. Yet I've always followed heaven. And it took my trust far beyond words. It has shown me a little bit of the heaven I've never found. I want to feel I'm alive all of my living days. I will live as I desire. I want to feel I'm alive, just knowing I was good enough. I have never lost who I was. I have only left it sleeping. Maybe I never had a choice. Just the will to stay alive. All I want is to be happy being me. To be strong and to be free, to see day arise from night. I am here and my life is only mine. And the heaven I thought was there, I'll discover it there somewhere. I want to feel that I lived my life.
Thank you so much, Nancy. That was absolutely beautiful and so appropriate to today's message. I want to feel I've lived. This past summer, I've spent quite a bit of time sitting out on the patio right outside our door. And as a matter of fact, the other day, Ed, who's a real character, lives in our building, came by as I was getting in the car, and he looked and said, "Oh, at first I didn't recognize you standing up." Well, the other day I was sitting on the patio and I was watching the beautiful flowers out front and admiring the bees that were really getting into them, as well as the butterflies that were coming up. And at one point, a hummingbird came right near the tree that was just 10 feet from me. And it was making its wings flutter, suspended in air. And I was absolutely amazed. Now, why do I tell you this? Have you noticed that in these last few weeks or months, the people around you more and more have felt uptight, looked anxious, distracted? Well, it's so important for us to be able to appreciate the humor that comes around us, the opportunities to appreciate beauty and the majesty of God's beings expressing in this world. Our temptation, especially at a time like this, is to believe that things are likely to get worse. And yet the opposite is true. And it's not Pollyannish belief, but a truth based on spiritual law. Greater things are always trying to happen for you. You need only look carefully at the world around you to observe the truth of this. Have you ever had your arm experience a cut and then watched how quickly the healing process begins? It doesn't matter who the person is, whether this was done by mistake or even intentionally. The universe takes over and begins the healing process automatically. That's the way God is. God is always seeking to bring about something better in you and for you. One of my mastermind partners told us about how he and his wife had been looking for a new home. And they had put out an offer which was accepting the amount that the seller was stating. But they got word back that someone else had already accepted it. So they went on looking for their next best alternative, and they found another home. Didn't have all that they wanted in the first home, but it was nice. And they were just ready a week later to make an offer on the second home when they got a call from the real estate agent that said, the other person backed out. You can have that home, the first home, if you want. And Lenore and I were reminded of how we were selling our home more than a quarter century ago when we were leaving for ministerial school. And we were caught in a dilemma because it was the summer before we were to start ministerial school, but we would not know until the following March whether we would be accepted. And if we were accepted, we would only have 3 months before we would start classes. That would not be enough time to sell our home and move. On top of that, there were 300 people who were applying to be accepted for ministerial school, and only 30 would be accepted. Well, we decided we were going to reach out on faith, step out on faith. And so we put our home up for sale in the 1st of September, knowing that when it settled within 60 or 90 days, we would have to move, store our furniture, and rent a place for the next 6 or 8 months. Well, after 4 days on the market, the real estate agent said, "Can I come over and talk to you?" When she came, she sat down and said, "I have never seen anything like this in my life. The buyer wants to allow you to stay here through June because his main reason for wanting the home is that it has lake privileges at a lake a quarter mile away. And he wants his sons, who will be coming to visit him, to experience that, but they won't be coming until June. So you can stay in the home until you're ready to leave for ministerial school and just pay him rent during that time." Isn't it amazing how God finds ways to make things work for us? Jesus spoke to this in John, the Gospel of John, chapter 14, where he said, "These things that I do, you too shall do, and greater things than these shall you do." And prior to that, In Deuteronomy chapter 16, your God shall bless you in all ways with increase and in all the works of your hands. A young woman was faced with a seemingly insurmountable problem. She tried to find some possibility of solution, but suddenly she remembered something her mother had impressed upon her as a child. If you put forth the effort, God will bring about the solution. When she thought about this, immediately her mind cleared. She began to put this idea to work. Very shortly, the door opened where before there seemed to be no door. Her efforts led to the perfect solution of the problem, and many blessings were added. God gave the increase that was promised. Now, this does not mean that everything that we would like will come about, nor does it mean that we'll be free of problems. It does mean that in the midst of the problems, greater things will be seeking to happen for you to help bring resolution. It's been a while since we brought you up to date on our dear granddaughter, Isabella, in Colorado, who's now 13 years of age. Well, Isabella leads an amazing life. She has 3 pet mice, and she was telling us about how concerned she was because they were fighting. So she began to research what to do, and she went on to social media, and she found that there was a woman in England who is an authority on how to handle mice, on the behavior of mice. And so she looked at this, and she still had some questions. So she contacted the woman in England, raised her questions, and got these ideas on how to help the mice make their environment more mouse-friendly. And all of a sudden, she's at a new level of dealing with her mice. Now, I don't know about you, but back when I was 13 years of age, I was not connecting with authorities in other countries to deal with anything that was going on in my life. We always have the opportunity to see things anew. When we see that we, like Jesus, are intended to overcome the world, we can understand that our soul's journey is unique for each one of us. The life lessons I need are different from those you need. The master planner knows what these are, and I must be content for God to make me aware in its right time. Meanwhile, I can and do live as effectively as possible, which means as much as possible in alignment with divine mind. What does that look like? Well, it means practicing however I can, whenever I can, with whomever it is. Love, joy, peace, gratitude, harmony, all of those attributes that are in alignment with the divine. This coming Wednesday, we will be offering a 45-minute class on affirmations. That's Wednesday, September 16th at 7 p.m. I plan to begin that class with 2 spiritual truths. First, we create our own world and are totally responsible for it. And second, we must see life as a process. Now, this class can be life-changing for you. We have asked the people of the church to look over 15 categories that we provided, each with affirmations of between 20 and 30 in total. And these include categories that are very timely for these days, such as loneliness, goal setting, prosperity. And we would ask that if you would like to be included in this class, let us know. And we will send each person lists of the affirmations for the top 3 categories that people select. And you have until the end of today to get your preferences put forth. If you don't have this in your email, let us know and we'll resend it to you. Plus, we will send to you other categories that you might request. But more important, we will share with you the process by which you can resolve any issues dealing with these categories in your life. We know that it is not this earthly world that is causing greater things to happen for you. Rather, it's the spiritual world, the higher realm, the God force that is totally responsible for bringing about this greater good. So it is this life force that merits our absolute allegiance, our total support. Now, God, of course, does not need our support, but God's support is essential to us. And you are never going to be happy, peaceful, or contented until you let God take charge of your life. Now, a vital question is, what can we do to further the greatness that lives within us so that it becomes our experience? Just the other day, I was going through some papers, some old lessons. I had already determined the outline of this message today, when I came across a few pages of a lesson by Reverend Jack Boland from Church of the Day of 40 years ago. Now, it didn't have a date on it, but I saw the date 1980 on one of the articles that was an attachment to it. Jack spoke about those times we've all experienced when we're down and out. When we've asked ourselves, is it worth trying to rise up and keep moving? Now, the answer is that every cell in our body is programmed to fight for life. And Jack identifies 7 ways, 7 steps that you can take if you've been in a dark night of the soul to rise you to help you rise up into a new way of connecting with life. The first step is invite yourself to live. Seek out those persons who have lived through the dark night of the soul, and you'll find them everywhere, in life around you, in books, in movies. And you will find that they have, by living out their overcoming, given us proof positive that life is worth living. And what happens when you embrace this? As the psychologist and philosopher William James said, your belief will help create the fact in your life. So first, invite yourself to live. Second, forgive yourself and others for anything and everything. You know, whatever problems come up, we often tend to think that we're somehow responsible for it, whether this is real or imaginary. So we should face these issues, acknowledge them, make restitution where appropriate, and then just let it go. I recall a time a few months after I started attending Church of Today in the early 1980s, where I went to Jack and asked, can I sit down with you? And I explained to him that I felt very much taken advantage of by a friend who had borrowed money from me and then put it into a business that didn't succeed. So he declared bankruptcy and was not paying me back that debt. And yet he continued to live in a home that was many times greater than the amount he owed me. And I felt like this was not only wrong, but it was just a terrible thing for a friend to do. Jack listened to me and said, is there anything you can do about it? I said, no. He said, just let it go. Let it go? This is terrible. How can I just let it go? He said, let it go. Put it out of your mind. Don't give it another thought. You'll see good will come from this. But he was absolutely right. I let it go. I even went to the point of attending this friend's daughter's wedding. But having let it go, within a short time, all kinds of good started to pour into my life. I had an opportunity for a position, a new job that was making much more money than I had been accustomed to. Let it go. Forgive yourself and others and let it go. Third, the third step that Jack Boland expressed, reclaim your self-esteem. Give up that defensive mask that you've been walking around with. Stand up for your own values. Speak well of yourself. Be as generous to yourself as you tend to be to others. Stop believing that you could fail. If you do, you just start again. Marcus Aurelius said, think about what you have rather than what you lack. Fourth, reach out to help others. Give of your time and concern. And you will find that by doing this, you will heal yourself. I might add, be open to obtaining counseling. When I was at a particularly low point in my life and wondering, quite frankly, if I wanted to go on, my former wife had told me that she wanted a divorce. And I felt so devastated by no longer living with my son and daughter that I was very low. And this counselor suggested that I begin to volunteer my time at a runaway center for kids, which I did. And it not only brought me out of the doldrums, but it opened the doors to a whole new avenue of life. Because it was shortly after that I opened up some agency that provided group homes for kids who were abandoned, neglected, and abused. And I had a whole new purpose by being of help to others. I was lifted out of the darkness. Fifth, believe in miracles. You know, we've all experienced those times when we transcended from this earthly human experience and seen the unbelievable come forth into our lives. Just finding that passage by Jack Bowen, I consider a miracle. I had no idea it existed. I had never seen it before. I did not ever recall hearing during the 12 years I was learning from Jack Bowen, hearing him express these ideas in just this format. And yet it came into my possession right at the time I needed it to present today's message. I know it was Jack because I recognize his handwriting on some of the pages. Let me tell you of another miracle. I believe it was a miracle. We were out driving about a week ago, Lenore and I, and when we were coming back from visiting Leone on the other side of town, I looked down. Now, usually when I get to 100 miles till empty, I go and get gas. But this time I had forgotten totally. I looked down and it said 0 miles to empty. I looked 3 times and it said 0 miles to empty. Oh my goodness. Now it happened, we were just 2 blocks from a Costco where I was able to pull in and get gas. Usually my tank takes 16 gallons. This took 18 and a half gallons. You can see how much I was on fumes. That, for me, was a miracle that I was called upon to look down at the odometer at that critical point. And as part of believing in miracles, another part that Jack speaks to is pray. Allow yourself to pray. Alexis Carrel, the Nobel surgeon, said that by praying, we link ourselves with the inexhaustible power that spins the universe. And it's true. Step 6, take one step at a time. Settle for what comes next. When we're looking to rise up, we tend to want to have it happen right away. But it will take whatever time it takes. And in the meantime, look around you for the little joys that will come your way. Step 7, practice gratitude. Look for the reasons to be grateful. Sometimes you want to just say, God, thank you just to be alive, just to have been born. I am filled with gratitude. And in the midst of this gratitude, practice praise. Praise to God. You can rise above the dark night of the soul and know with all your heart that life is worth living. Will you pray with me? Loving Spirit, we are so grateful for your presence, your power, your ongoing support, no matter what is happening in and through our lives. We know that you are available, accessible, and responsive, and we are so grateful. And so it is. Amen. And I want to urge you to continue to listen through the announcements today, because there is a special event coming up in just a couple of weeks that we want you to be aware of. At this time, when we come to our point of connecting in prayer, we invite you to join in our blessing of affirmation with what is on the screen. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And if you are able and you can, we would be most grateful for your financial support of the church. There are 3 ways that you can share your love offering. One is through online giving through our secure website, www.slctroy.com/give. Second, you can mail a check or money order to the church mailing address, 41340 Fox Run Road, number 106, Novi, Michigan, 48377. Or you can call me on my cell phone with one-time credit card information, 248-925-6214. And we want to welcome any newcomers. If you're visiting us for one of your first times, we welcome you and invite you to join our email list by visiting our website, www.slctroy.com, as shown on the screen. And in the upper right corner, clicking Join Email. And if you just put in your name and email address, you'll be able to get notices so that you're on top of what's happening here at Spiritual Life Center. Now, if you have any prayer requests, we have a powerful prayer team of 35 persons who pray daily, regularly, over your prayer requests. And we'll be getting these out today. By the end of the day, you can either send them to me at ronaldfscott@gmail.com, or once again to my phone, 248-925-6214. And we also send these on to Silent Unity at Unity Village, where they are prayed over for 30 days. In addition, as you can see, Silent Unity is available to pray with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. We also want to, again, mention that on Wednesday, September 16th, we will have that class on affirmations. It ought to be a good, powerful one at 7 o'clock for 45 minutes. And if you get us, by the end of today, a request, we will send you what those categories are. You can respond and let us know which one you would like. And we will see that you get that one, plus the top 3 that people select. Something we want to make you aware of is that a week from Saturday, September 30th, we have reserved space at Firefighters Park in Troy. It's just a half a mile from where we hold Sunday services at the MSU, the Management Education Center. Just west of there, right on Square Lake Road, the north side of Square Lake Road, is Firefighters Park. And starting at noon for a couple of hours on that Saturday, September 26th, we will be gathering. We'll have a wide space, it's covered area with a bunch of picnic tables. We'll each have our own picnic table, and we'll be able to bring our own lunch, bring our own drinks, and share time together, which we haven't been able to do for months. So we hope you will circle that date, come, bring your loved ones, and we would love to have you there, and we will just have a great time. Even though we've maintained social distancing, we'll have a great time. There's parking close by, there are restrooms right there, so we're sending out a notice that you probably have already received about this. And finally, there is a survey going out that we're asking you whether you think it's time to come back to have our Sunday services in person. We ministers tend to think it's a little early, that there's still too much going on and that it's not time yet, but we want to know what you think. So we've sent out this survey that we're asking you to return, to let us know your view on this. And finally, we invite you to our Zoom coffee hour at 11 o'clock or immediately following the service. You should have received an email with a new link for this time of connection. If not, please contact us and we will get that information to you. And now, please, let us join together in our peace song and benediction.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace
And now as you go forth, know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The power of God protects you.
The Lord make his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee.
The presence of God watches over you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and grant thee peace.
Wherever you are, God is.
Amen. Amen.
Go your way rejoicing. All is truly well.